Welcome back to CAISTROLOGY, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be doing your March 2021 horoscope. I recommend watching the horoscope for your ascendant sign first and foremost, because it will be the most overall accurate horoscope for you, but of course feel free to watch for your sun and moon horoscopes as well. I've just posted my tarot predictions for March 2021, so I'll leave a link in the description box below. That is a pick a card tarot reading. If you're interested in seeing my monthly horoscopes or my monthly tarot readings, please subscribe to CAISTROLOGY, as those go up at the end of each month for the following month. And lastly, guys, I do private readings for astrology and tarot. These are via video call, so if you want to connect with me, I'll leave a link in the description box, but you can find that at caistrology.com. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the March horoscopes. Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your March 2021 horoscope. The month starts off with Mars entering the sign of Gemini in your 6th house, where it will remain for 7 weeks. With Mars here, you'll be putting a lot of effort and energy into the following areas. And it could be one or more of these areas, okay? So physical health, you may be working out loads. You may be taking better care of yourself. Mental health, you may be working on changing your mentality. You could be fighting some kind of addiction at this time. And, for the next 2 months, you'll be taking no prisoners. With this Mars in your 6th house, you'll be super effective at implementing any kind of new daily routine or workout regime on actually cutting out these addictions or substance issues in your life. On another level, with work, you'll be super busy, okay? Because the 6th house represents your daily work, your work environment. So you could have to put a lot of extra effort here, whether that's with making things work in a project that you're working on. Mars in the 6th house can pose a lot of issues and obstacles, so you may be having to be your most strategic self over the next 7 weeks, Capricorn. On a different level, if you are working on obtaining some kind of loan from a bank, whether that's for a mortgage for a house or any loan, you may have some extra hurdles and hoops to jump through over the next 7 weeks. And that could be that you have to supply more documentation to your financier, to your lender, or there may be some unexpected fees and expenses involved with this process. Now, the 6th house also rules court cases and legal matters. And the 6th house in Vedic astrology actually rules open enemies, okay? So just keep an eye out for anything which is coming to your attention at this time. Just use your intuition with this one, Capricorn. At a material level, if you're involved with a legal matter or a court case or proceeding, well, that's something which, will be very obvious, of course, and you'll have to deal with that head on. But just keep an eye out for anyone who's trying to, just get into your personal matters and details. This could be with relation to your bank or your work environment, your physical health, your mental health. So just keep an eye out for individuals who are entering your life and what they're trying to get from you. They may be asking for personal information to use it against you. So just keep an eye out for that. If you have a pet, they may be putting you to work over the next 7 weeks. And if you have a young pet, I would advise, or a pet which is quite vulnerable, they could even be quite elderly, like a senior dog, just keep them away from other animals over the next 7 weeks if you can. And this is just like, if you're at a dog park, maybe don't have them off lead if they are really young or they are really vulnerable. Just keep an eye out for bigger dogs, if that makes sense. Now, on the 7th of March, there will be the end of the Mercury retrograde post-shadow period, which we always have 2 weeks after a retrograde period. Now, you may have rethought or re-evaluated your financial situation. Some of you Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Risings may have changed banks or financiers. You may have been reevaluating how you want to earn your money, and you might have actually experienced some kind of mental breakthrough when it comes to issues with your money mindset. And this can be a lack mindset or a scarcity mindset, or some of you may have been at quite a psychological level blocking your flow of abundance when it comes to money, but now you've had some kind of breakthrough and you're able to attract this abundance into your life. Now, some of you may have actually found a way to become financially independent, all right? If you were dependent on receiving money from an ex or an ex-spouse, or, you know, it could even have been like a sibling or relatives, all right? Because Mercury represents siblings and relatives. Now you're able to be financially independent for some of you Capricorns. Now, with the Mercury retrograde period or the post-shadow period finally being over, some of you may have cleared out your closet over the last month. And maybe some of you have gotten rid of the things that you've been hoarding for several years, or at least for several months. On a different level, your values have totally shifted. And I suspect that this will be for almost all Capricorns. You've started valuing yourself more and analyze the ways in which you've been undervalued by others. And maybe this has led you to having different tastes. You know, maybe you're doing your hair and makeup differently. Maybe you're wearing different clothes and you're just seeing yourself in a new light, and you've got this boost to your self-esteem, which has occurred over the last month, and now you're presenting yourself to the world in quite a different way. Now, for some of you, your family values may have changed over the last month. Maybe you came from a traditional family who've instilled certain values in you, and perhaps some of you have broken away from these traditionalist ideas which are quite archaic and outdated, or perhaps they're just not in alignment with how you want to be, how you want to go forward with your family or with your partnerships, all right? Now, on the 13th of March, there will be a new moon in Pisces at 23 degrees. And this is occurring in your third house. It's actually in a tight conjunction with Venus and with Neptune, which means we need to look at how these planets are operating in your horoscope. On one level, Neptune represents loss in some respects, or having to make a sacrifice. But it can also indicate creative flow and being extremely artistic, all right? And Venus rules your 10th house, which is Libra, which is the career house, and it also rules your 5th house, which is Taurus, and this is another area where we see creativity being expressed. So, new moons always indicate a new beginning in some capacity, and this is about you planting the seeds for this new beginning over the next 4 weeks and seeing the culmination of said beginning in about 6 months' time, when we have the full moon in Pisces, or even the full moon in Pisces next year in 2022. So that's in 18 months' time. So some of you may be starting a new team project at work, or you may be having a new work team altogether. Now, the sacrifice that Neptune is asking you to make is that maybe you have to say goodbye to an old team who you really liked and you worked really effectively with. Now, you may be starting a new course or a new training program. That's another manifestation of the third house. But this new course or training program will see you having to forfeit some leisure time, as represented by Venus ruling your 5th house. The 5th house is how we have fun. It's how we enjoy ourselves. Maybe you have to go out less, or, go out to less parties. As Capricorns, it's not like you are necessarily off the wall partiers by stereotype, but even still, some of you will be starting your own business, and this will be another way that you may have to forfeit this relaxation time or this party time. But, with the planting of the seeds for this new business, again, you can see this take place in about 6 months' time or 18 months' time. And with Neptune being in your 3rd house, you're actually super, super creative. So that's a really positive manifestation for this new moon. Some of you may be buying a new vehicle and it's requiring you to sell an old vehicle which you may have been quite partial to. And lastly, some of you Capricorns might be starting to write a new book, a new novel, working on some kind of communication piece. You know, this could be a documentary or something to do with filmography or photography. But in any case, just look out for that full moon in Pisces in 6 months' time and the one in 18 months' time. In any case, the culmination could be, it could have like a two-prong effect. For some of you, you may see 6 months and 18 months both being important trigger points in time. Now, on the 16th of March, Mercury will enter the sign of Pisces in your 3rd house. So you could be planning a short day trip somewhere or even like a weekend away. You might actually meet someone while you're running errands or while you're on a short trip. And some of you may meet a new business connection or even make a new friend, because when we have planets transiting any house, we have to look at the nature of the planet, and that tells us what this person can be like. Okay, so Mercury represents friends and it also represents business connections. So some of you may be networking over the 3 weeks or so while Mercury is in Pisces, and some of you may be working on your online business or putting more efforts towards sales and marketing or even courses and training. Okay, like even though with the new moon in Pisces, that could be some new course or training which helps with your 10th house, which I forgot to mention, which is your career. With Mercury in your Pisces, you might be currently working on some kind of course or training program. Now, on the 20th of March, the Sun will enter the sign of Aries in your 4th house, which kicks off Aries season. Just 2 days later, we have Venus entering Aries in your 4th house as well on the 22nd of March. So with the Sun and Venus in your 4th house, you'll be focused on your home life. You may be just enjoying time at home or even entertaining in your home, or you could be decorating your home, you know, buying things, new things for the house, painting the walls, decorating the rooms. You may simply be focused on property and where you are currently living, all right? You may be looking at buying property in the future and just putting some plans into motion, or even doing some research on what kind of a house you would want to buy or what renovations you might want to do to your house. Now, on a different level, with the Sun and with Venus here, you may be very focused on family life or even your relationship with your parents at this time. And lastly, Capricorns, on the 27th of March, there will be a full moon in Libra at 8 degrees, and this is in your 10th house of career and your public image and public visibility. Now, I only see good things happening with this full moon in Libra because the moon is making a beautiful trine to Mars in Gemini, which is in your 6th house of work and health. And it's also trining Saturn and Jupiter, Saturn being your ruling planet, in the 2nd house of finances. Okay, so full moons always indicate the ending of a chapter or of a cycle. So some of you may be coming to an end of an era when it comes to your career. Now, this could be you are receiving a promotion and therefore you're leaving one department or one area of work to start a new area. You may have received a new position of leadership or a new title in your work. And this supportive trine to your 2nd house of finances can see you receiving some kind of financial benefit as a result of this promotion in title or position of leadership, or you could really be shooting up the ladder with this full moon in Libra. Now, this will be something that you started 6 months ago or even 18 months ago. Now, for some of you, you may be leaving your job or the company that you work for altogether, okay? And this will be something which you are happy about. Perhaps this is to pursue a business which you started 6 months ago or 18 months ago, and leaving the career which you've built at your current workplace or job has now allowed you to pursue your own business, and this means you're going to receive more money and more dollars into your bank account because your business has taken off and it's superseded what work you were doing in the company that you're in. Now, for some of you, you may be retiring, okay? You may be finally closing the book on that chapter of your life, which was a long slug of working, and perhaps you're getting some kind of payout with your work. And there will be a select few Capricorns who may have been let go from their job and you may be receiving a severance package. But I just want to emphasize that if you are in this category of Capricorn, you will be really, really happy about this, okay? This either won't be a shock to you, or it's something which you're happy that you don't actually have to go and hand your resignation in because you didn't want to deal with all of that. And maybe the decision has come from them and you're just really happy that you didn't need to make the first move with that respect. Now, lastly, some of you Capricorns will simply be recognized for all of the hard work that you've been doing, okay? With this trine to Mars in Gemini in your 6th house. The 6th house of work and your working environment just represents all of the extra hours that you've been putting in, and now your boss is recognizing you, or your public image is really taking off for all of the hard work that you've put in. So Capricorn, that's all I have for you for March 2021. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to CAISTROLOGY. Check out my March 2021 tarot predictions video, which I've just published a few days before this will go live. But anyway, Capricorn, enjoy March 2021, and I will see you guys next month.